Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing another TBR jar video today, and I haven't filmed a ton this month. Honestly, I've been trying to work my way through House of Flame and Shadow because that is like an encyclopedia, and I am like 60-something% of the way through it, and it is just a long one, and it's taking me a lot of time. So I haven't filmed much this month. I've just kind of been working my way through that book, but I feel like I did okay on my TBR for having such a big book on it. So I did not read Heard It in a Love Song, which I'm really sad about because I actually really wanted to read that book this month, but I just knew that the likelihood of me getting to some of these were going to be really, really unlikely because I had such a big book, but I kind of want to read that still. So maybe I'll try to get that on this month's TBR as well so I can maybe hopefully get to it in March, but I did read House of Flame and Shadow. I am currently reading The Holy Ghost, which is a graphic novel, and I'm about like halfway through that one as well, so that one will be done. I did not read The Love Hypothesis. Nothing But Blackened Teeth, I did not read that one. Voices in the Snow, I did read that one. And then I also read The Indifferent Stars Above, which was also a really interesting one. So I think I did pretty good. I got through much more than I actually thought I was going to, so that was good. I thought maybe I might just get to like 2 or 3 books this month, but I think I did okay. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. Hopefully we get some fun ones today. Buy a new Kindle book. Okay, that's fun. I like that one. So I don't buy a ton of Kindle books. Like usually I'll just get Kindle books when I want to read them. Like I buy them when I read them versus just buying a bunch of random Kindle books and just having them on there. So now I get to buy a book for my Kindle that I'm going to read this month, which is actually kind of fun because I have a lot of romances. Like I tend to read romance on my Kindle because I just don't feel the need to like buy every romance that I read. So Kindle is usually where I will buy my romances. So, okay, so I found the book that I think I'm going to get, and it's an Abby Jimenez book, and I think that this is like a group of like short stories, and a whole bunch of different authors wrote them. I'm not even really sure. I haven't heard too many people talk about these, but this is called The Worst Wingman Ever, and it's The Improbable Meet Cute #2, and these are just like really short novellas. This one is 61 pages, but it's by Abby Jimenez, and she's one of my favorite romance writers, so I'm excited for this one. But there's like a whole bunch in this like little series, I guess. So there's like The Expectation to the Rule, which is Christina Lauren. There's Rosie and the Dreamboat by Sally Thorne. Drop, Cover, and Hold On by Jasmine Gilroy. With Any Luck by Ashley Poston. And Royal Valentine by Soraya Wilson. Oh, I haven't heard anybody talk about these. So these came out January 23rd of 2024. So The Worst Wingman Ever, that is the one I'm going to read because I love me some Abby Jimenez. And if I end up liking this, maybe I'll read the other ones that are also in this little series as well. Alright, book number 2, a book you know nothing about. Okay, so this one is one of those ones where it's probably going to be an older book that I put on my TBR because a lot of my older books that I haven't like looked at in a while or thought about in a while, I've kind of like forgot what they're about, or just kind of like I used to know but now I'm like vague on it. I don't know. So let me look at my shelf and see what I can find. Okay, so this one is going to be surprising to you guys, and you're going to be like, you don't know what that's about? Like, didn't you just buy that? And yes. And I think I have kind of known what this is about in passing. Like I've read the synopsis multiple times, but it just has never really stuck in my brain as far as like what it's about. I just know that it's like a cozy fantasy romance type of thing, and I'm just interested in it. Like there's something about this book that is drawing me to it, and I just want to read it. And it is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, and again, I don't really know what this is about. I think that maybe it's about a character who has like a half of a soul. I don't know, like she was born with half a soul or something like that, and then she wants to find like love or something. That's literally all I know about this. So surprisingly, don't know much about it, but I do really want to read this still just because I'm in the mood for a romance. Here's the thing. I have been reading House of Flame and Shadow, like I said. The thing is Sarah J Maas always comes through with romance, and I have been in the biggest romance mood, you guys. Like I've wanted to read romance like crazy. And I've been reading House of Flame and Shadow, but there's like hardly any romance in it, and it's driving me crazy because like I was hoping for some romance and there's just not a lot. So I've been kind of in this like really frustrated state of like wanting to read a romance. So I might pick a lot of romance for this month, just being honest. So Half a Soul is my second pick. A book you didn't get to from a past TBR video. Perfect. I love this one because I just said that I wanted to read Heard It in a Love Song this month, and this was from this month's TBR, And this is like a older romance, I believe. It's about a girl who was in like a rock band, and then they kind of retired and she's not in the rock band anymore, but now she's a music teacher for a school, and I think that she like meets a teacher or something, like a coworker, and I think it's like a romance like that. I'm not really sure, but I know it's like an older age romance, I think. And I just love this cover. I think it's so pretty, and I'm just curious about this because I've never heard anybody talk about it, but it is blurbed by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which we all know that I love her, so hopefully this is good, and I really want to read it, so we'll see. I need to be careful. I don't want to pick all romances, because sometimes I do that, because I'm like, I'm in such a romance mood, and then I pick all romances, and then I get out of my romance mood, and then I have nothing else to read. So I need to be careful that I'm not picking just romance. Next book. A book I have considered unhauling. Ugh, I hate this one. This like forces you to read a book that you're like not too sure about. Okay, let me see what I can find. Okay, so this is a super, super random choice by me, but this is a book that has been on my TBR for probably 6 years or so, and it's just sat on my TBR. I tried reading this once actually, just to kind of see the writing style, like what it would be like, and then I never like continued on with it, but I still wanted to read it, and it's just sat on my shelf since then, and it is The Coma. And it says, a strange, compelling ride into a realm where nothing is what it seems and where night never really wakes up. So I think this is one of those, like, it says, Carl awakens from a coma to a life that is disconcertingly off. He arrives at his friend's house without knowing how he got there. Nor do they. He seems to be having an affair with his secretary, which is pleasant but unlikely. Further unsettled by his leaps in logic and time, Carl wonders if he's actually reacting to the outside world or if he is terribly mistaken. Could it be that he is simply not awake? So it's kind of like a weird kind of speculative story. You don't really know what's going on, and I think it sounds really interesting. I like stories like that where you're kind of like stuck in some weird reality and you don't know what's going on, and you're like, you want to find out like what's happening to this person. I think it sounds really, really interesting, and I think I got this at like a thrift store, but there has definitely been times where I considered unhauling it because I'm like, I'm just never going to get to it. Like, this has been sitting on my shelf for 6 years. Like, just unhaul it if you're not going to read it. So I'm gonna read this one. And plus it's like a really interesting like setup. Like, there's pictures in it, and it has like very little words on certain pages. So I think that this will be a pretty quick read. Or I may DNF it. I may start it and be like, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. I could see this book maybe being a DNF if it is just completely weird. So we'll see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3 more. A book with a number in the title. Okay, I hate this one, to be honest. I feel like it really narrows things down like a lot. But what I might do actually is see if there's any books like on my Goodreads TBR, and then use one of my credits to get a audiobook. Let me actually see if I have any in my audiobooks that have a number in the title. I have 3 credits that I've used. Counting the Cost, that's not a number, but it's like about numbers. 1984. I've never read 1984. Okay, there's nothing on there. Let me see what I have on my shelves. Okay, you guys, I found 2 that could work for this, and I think I know which one I'm gonna pick. But I have One Dark Window, which I was actually thinking about picking this one for a book I don't know too much about, because I actually don't really know that much about this book. I just know it has kind of a romance in it, and everyone says it's really, really, really good. Like, this was super, super hyped last year, and that's one reason why I bought it, but I don't actually super know what it's about, so I don't know. But it does have 1 in the title, and then I have 7 Days in June, which I picked this book actually for this prompt in the past, and then I didn't end up reading it. But because I'm in a romance mood, and everyone says this is like the best romance of all time, this would be the perfect month to read this one. Like, I might pick this up before any of the other romances on this TBR. Like, this would be the best time to pick this one. So I think I'm gonna pick 7 Days in June, and I'm going to get to it. I know I keep picking it for my TBRs, but I really, really, really do think I'm gonna get to it this month. So finally, I'm going to read it. So I have 2 more books. Like I said, I need an audiobook. A book you don't see talked about. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. A book that I don't see talked about. Okay, so there's an audiobook actually that I do want to read that is not talked about, and it's called The Cabin on Sauter Hill. Now this one sounds super interesting. So this is 304 pages, and it says, Michelle and Cliff stage about their isolated vacation cabin in the mountains of North Carolina in hopes of repairing their 18-year marriage. But when Cliff disappears one night searching for the source of a mysterious light in the woods, Michelle's life will change in unimaginable ways. After the sheriff's department fails to find him, Michelle scrambles down the same dark mountainside alone. the strange beckoning light as her only guide. What she discovers is the cabin, identical to theirs, housing a life she barely recognizes and a husband she hardly knows. Cliff is a changed man, now caring and considerate, no longer manipulative. He is also missing a finger. He claims that Cassie, their teenage daughter, is dead, killed in a car accident over a year ago. Michelle knows that's not possible. Cassie had phoned her from Atlanta only hours before. So as you can tell, it's kind of like a weird, like, alternate reality maybe type of thing. I don't really know, but to me that sounds really, 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 really interesting. Like, totally up my alley. I love those weird, mysterious things that just you don't understand until like the very, very end. So hopefully it's good. I think it sounds really good. So that's the one I'm gonna pick for a book that you don't hear much about, and it is my audiobook for the month. So hopefully it's good. All right, last one, a 2-word title. Okay, a 2-word title. I think I have a lot that could fit this one. Okay, you guys, this one is random. Like, I was not thinking about reading this month at all. Like, this was not one that was like on my mind or anything. It has been on my shelf for years. And I just was like, you know what? It's time. Like, let's do it. And it is Fortuna Sworn, but this is by K.A. Sutton, and this got really big, like, what, 4 years ago or something, or more even? I'm not even really exactly sure when this came out, but I remember seeing it. Oh, look at the naked book. That's cool. I didn't know that was there. Yeah, I don't really know much about this, but I just remember it got really, really big there for a while, and I remember the cover was like really pretty, and I was like really obsessed with the cover, and I bought it, and I haven't read it. And so I'm gonna read this one. Fortuna Sworn is 2 words, and it's a pretty short little book. It is 291 pages, so almost 300 pages, and we're just gonna go for it. It sounds really simple, honestly. Like, the synopsis sounds simple. It's about a girl who's the last of her kind. It doesn't say what she is, and her whole family dies, and so she kind of lives undercover as like a bartender, and then like some fae guy comes in and like is interested in her or something, and so he like takes her to the fae world, but she realized that it was like more of a dangerous decision than she like thought it was gonna be or something. I don't know. So it sounds like a pretty simple plot line, which I'm kind of into. I mean, I'm reading freaking Sarah J Maas right now, and she's convoluted sometimes, so a good simple like little romance will be fun. So that is gonna be my pick for 2-word title. All right, you guys, so this is my TBR plus my audiobook and my Kindle book. We have Fortuna Sworn, which is my 2-word title. We have 7 Days in June, which is a number on the cover, or number in the title, I should say. Coma, which is a book that I considered unhauling, so that one's gonna be kind of interesting. Heard It in a Love Song. This was for a book that was on a previous TBR that I didn't get to. And then Half a Soul, which is a book that I don't know much about. So that is that. And then I have The Last Wingman, or The Best Wingman. What is it called? I don't remember. By Abby Jimenez. That's my new Kindle book. And then we have The House on Sauter Hill, and that is for a book I don't know very much about. So I think there's actually a good array of genres in this. We have a thriller, we have like some mystery, weird books, we have a lot of romance, we have some fantasy, we have some contemporary. Like, I think I'm set to go for this month. I think I'm gonna do pretty well. So that is it, you guys. I'm actually like, do you ever pick a really random book off your shelf, like Fortuna Sworn, and you're like, why haven't I read this yet? And then you pick it and you're like, okay, now I'm excited to read it and I want to read it like right away. It's like once you pick it and like you finally choose to read it, you get excited to read it. Like, what the heck? It's been on my shelf for like 6 years. Anyways, that is it, you guys. I will see you in my next video. Sorry I haven't been uploading much lately, but I promised to update you guys on my thoughts on the new Sarah J Maas book that I'm reading, and I think that's it. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!